Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a grand finale of our Revell Peterbilt snap tight kit. Man, I'll tell you what, this is a big son of a gun. It wasn't a whole lot of parts, but it took me a long time just because I was unfamiliar with almost every part that I was working on. So let me get the guys out of the way here and we'll start. Tim is excited to get this one out of the garage. I'll tell you that right now. And I think I am too. I'm ready to... Jake, you're not helping. Move on here. So, right off the rip, this is Cat 5 wire that I had the blue, the red, and the green, and they all had stripes on them, white stripes. So I painted them blue, red, and green, ran them back on the inside. They're still loose because I do plan on having a tanker truck go with this. Man, I'm going to just turn this on its side, I guess. There's a lot of first in this thing. First truck since I was probably 13, 12. So I made my own decals here. We got Grandpa Mark's Trucking Company. We got my logo. I added the mirrors. I didn't trim down the antennas. I left them the way they were. The oil, I guess oil filter or reservoir, all I did was painted the stripes on it and left it at that. I didn't even panel line it. It looked good the way it was. I did dirty up the diamond plate just a smidge, just to show that it, you know, a little weathering goes a long way. These tires from Mobius are so much better than the other ones. I can't even tell you how much better than the other ones they are, because the other ones I was ready to put the whole kit away, to be honest with you, and say to heck with it. But then I found these, chucked them on, and they're good to go. Again, the decals. This was the first time I ever did decals. And to spoil myself a little bit, I got this Mr. Coffee cup warmer. And I used just my old favorite coffee cup, my Davy Dad coffee cup. Just keep the water in it, put it on top of that, you know, put warm water in it, and it heats it up nicely. And I'll tell you what, it's making decals a heck of a lot easier to put on. So we'll bring this back around here. The engine, everything fit together nicely, except for the tires. The engine fit in there real good. Oh, no, you know what? Not everything. The exhaust, and I was warned about the exhaust, but we'll talk about them here in a second. The engine dropped in there. The air intake hose went in no problem whatsoever. You can see I have just a little bit of fit here, which I could probably fiss and fuss with it a little bit to get it in, but I'm afraid if I do that, it's going to pop this exhaust off right here. So the hood's going to be closed. It is in there. It did look great until I put the exhaust on. I mean, it was lined up perfectly, but that just torqued everything around. And I had to do a little bit of surgery on both sides of this, where the pins go in to the body. I had to egg shape them up quite a bit so that the pins would lock in there. And they're in there friction fit. There's no glue. So you can see how they're tight in there. You can see it torque that bar down when I got these things to line up with the bottom pegs to line up. And I thought it was more important to get this to look good on both sides. I thought it was more important to get that to look good on both sides where you're going to see it, because I'm not going to display this with the engine open, than it was to have that piece lined up, because I could have pulled that piece back off there, heated it up, and finagled it a little bit, but it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. The decals, the only decals I used were really my own and the little Peterbilt decals. I'm going to try to tilt this up. They look really cool on the mud flaps. I dirtied the mud flaps up on the inside, but not on the back side of them. This came out really good. My fifth wheel. I had a lot of people. I called it a skid plate. That was after a long day of work and then coming down here and messing around. But I knew it was a fifth wheel. It just, my brain was completely shut down that day. But the fifth wheel's looking good. It tilts nicely. It's not real loose, but it's not so stiff that I'm afraid I'm going to break something when I add the tanker to it. The weathering on it went really good. I added the post to the back here, and I'm afraid once that I, look at there, like I said, those are loose. Once I get the tanker built, I may have to cut that post off and move the wires back this way, and then I'll hook them up to the back here somewhere to run them to the tanker. But for right now, I just needed a place to put it. I didn't even chrome the top of this yet, but I needed a place to put the wires just to make them look good, and so they weren't just a tangled mess everywhere. But again, this thing dropped together like it was just, it fell together, really did, except for the exhaust. The engine is detailed like crazy. The interior is detailed like crazy. I wish these had clear lenses on them, because if they did, I think I would have spent the time to try to light this whole truck. But to put the headlights on and not have these lit, I think that would have just looked cheap, I guess it would be called. I could even ran the lights back to the taillights, and I should have actually ran wires down there so they'd look good, but I didn't. The fuel tanks, once I got them redone and chromed, I'm using this new chrome that I tried, and it's awful dang dark. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using it or not, or if I'll try to figure out a way to spray it. I used it on super gloss black, just like they said, and it just didn't brighten up like the rest of the chrome. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue using it or not. I will mess around with it and just see, if I can make it look like the regular chrome. If not, it'll probably get put in the shelf, which is a shame because it sprays on really nice. That's this, let me dig it out here, the green stuff. Everybody's talking about how great this is. This is the green stuff for airbrush. There is one for brush paint too. They say the glossier your base coat is, the better it'll work. And I used Tamiya's gloss paint on it, and it was perfect. I mean, it was glossed down really nice. So not sure if that's just the way it is. It's like a dark chrome, but it is what it is. I'll take it. And with that, let's start the music montage. Thanks everybody for following along. Thanks for subscribing and the thumbs up and all the comments. I really appreciate it. Now let's bring on the music.